slightly earlier. It's slightly early. We are here. I'm Abs of October Red, and I'm joined by Mr. Shades, Mr. Cool in the car, Mr. I'm giving it Jigger, no Jigger. I don't know. I'm expecting to hear some Jay-Z in the background. Cool, calm, collective, Blue Blood Sports. Thank you very much for coming over onto my channel this time. Very, very grateful for that and welcome.
Oh man, it's a blessing, and I plan to make this like a weekly thing.
Oh, I like this.
Yeah,
You're going to keep me busy.
let's let's do that.
We've got we've got so much to talk about, and I think last week was a great introduction because you were teaching me probably I need to have my ear a little bit more over in the US to find out what's current, what's going on with the boxing in the US, and what a perfect week to start it because we've had nothing but chaos from when we were speaking about Ryan Garcia. We're seeing Derek James looking stressed out in the gym. So then we have yesterday's press conference with obviously Canelo and Jaime Munguia, and then the post conversation where it's like 150, 200 million, obviously for the Benavidez fight. I mean, fill our viewers in on what's happening out there right now because it's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. Boxing right now is extremely hot. The sport of boxing here in the states is topsy turvy, right? It's up and down. I think it's over there for you guys. It's more consistent, right? Just you get fights, fights, fights. It's consistent. Then you have the big fights.
Yeah.
Then it's still consistent. Right? Here, it's just 90% of the time it's just big fights, big splash, and nothing, right? So right now, and it's seasonal here. January, February, March, April, May, June are typically like heavy for boxing for us, and
Okay.
then you'll get some good fights. Usually, the fights that we get in the summertime is you guys fights. Like Anthony
Oh,
Joshua. That's typically the big fights that we get to watch over here is you guys fights. Then in the end of the year, they'll try to end the year off with a few splashes, a few bangs, right? But they hit or miss. They might come to fruition, they might not, because of the holidays. So they don't. They try to play with the holidays, but they try not to play with the holidays because remember I told you the NFL is the biggest
yep.
sport here, and there's a point in time where every major sport is running. We have NFL, NBA, NHL, baseball, all running at the same time, and they take precedence. So boxing tries not to play with those because then you have college football. They all running at the same time, and then you have them running on Saturdays. So it's a lot, right? And then you run into the holidays. So boxing tries to find this spot, but right now, because Showtime got out of boxing and there's no schedule right now. Everything is just coming, just bang, bang. It's just suddenly, right? Even though we know that there's a possibility, like we know Canelo's gonna fight May, we know he's gonna fight in September. That's a given. Who is he gonna fight is the question, right? That's always the question. Who is Canelo gonna fight? And then based around that, you got guys like Tank. Tank, depending upon he varies sometimes depending upon what we know Canelo's gonna fight in May and September, so Tank will typically fight early the year, right? And then he'll fight. He usually fights early in the year and then fight in the spring, and then that's it. Canelo will give you two fights, May and September. Then he might give you November, December. He might do that. But those are the two big goals over here, right? And then so right now you got Canelo announcing the Jaime Munguia fight, which is he's getting a lot. He's getting absolutely hammered in the boxing world because he just said that he's not going to fight Terrence Crawford, And then if he's gonna fight David Benavidez, he needs 150 to 200 million dollars. Then he said that only thing David Benavidez brings to the table is 25 extra pounds.
Yeah.
But which is ironic because when he fought Floyd Mayweather, he outweighed Floyd by 20 pounds. Right? When he fought Austin Trout, the fight before Floyd, they fought at 154. He weighed in. He got in the ring at 172.
Yeah,
so he was almost 20 pounds heavier. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So that doesn't even make sense. And then the semantics, the wordplay, he's using 20 to 25 pounds. It would lead people to believe that David Benavidez is going to be 25 pounds heavier than him, which is not true at all because he's going to rehydrate to at least 185 himself. David Benavidez in his last fight rehydrated to the most he's ever rehydrated, which was 195 in the ring, which is a lot. That's 27 pounds, right? But he's a big dude. He's a big kid, right? So he weighed 195. But Canelo's going to weigh 185. So David Benavidez is going to outweigh him by 10 pounds, not 20 to 25 pounds, But the way he'll make it seem as if he's going to be outweighed by 20, 25 pounds, and that's not true. And you fought Sergey Kovalev, Dmitry Bivol. They didn't have a rehydration clause. They fight at 175. So what did they? All fighters, at least over here, they typically rehydrate at least 12 pounds. So if you fight at 175, they're going to be 187 at least. Right? At least the night of the fight, they're going to be 187. Right? And you talk about Sergey Kovalev and Bivol, they're big. They're not little. So that's being generous. 12 pounds is generous. Right? So I'm sure they both weighed 190 easy. Now David Benavidez is slightly bigger than both of them, so he would outweigh them on night of rehydration by 5 pounds. So it's just he don't want to fight him. So right now he's getting absolutely hammered because you fought Floyd was 36 years old, going on 37. Floyd only fought at 154 twice before he fought Canelo there, which was Oscar De La Hoya in 2007 and then Miguel Cotto, right? And Miguel Cotto and Oscar both fought at smaller weight classes. They both fought at 140 at one point in time. So they grew into 154. So Canelo was a natural 54 pounder. So he was the biggest guy technically that Floyd ever fought. He didn't and he's 13 years older than you.
Yeah.
With no power. He's not a power puncher. He's a technician. And he fought you. He gave you the opportunity. So David Benavidez, you took the opportunity. The moment that David Benavidez lost the belt on the scale, Canelo Alvarez jumped on it. He petitioned for the belt the week David Benavidez lost the belt, which is a clear indication that you never had any intentions on fighting him. As soon as you saw an opportunity where you didn't have to go through him to be undisputed or be a champion of the division, you took it. And that's terrible. So we got that's taking place. And then, so Jaime Munguia is a very good fighter.
Yep.
Jaime Munguia, though the best fighter he's fought was Sergey Derevyanchenko, in my opinion, which was 2 fights ago, right? 2 or 3 fights ago. And he almost lost. Sergey Derevyanchenko is a smaller guy, but Jaime Munguia almost lost. He did fight John Ryder, right? And he knocked out John Ryder. But to be real, John Ryder, how he been in some tough fights. How much did he actually have left before he fought Jaime Munguia?
Well, he retired afterwards, didn't he? It was like his finale. So.
Yeah. Immediately. And he still had moments. He still had moments in the fight, right? So you look at it from that standpoint. Now you're telling us, if you Canelo, you're telling the world David Benavidez don't bring anything to the table. But his run on fighters is way better than Jaime Munguia's. He beat Demetrius Andrade. He beat Caleb Plant. He beat Anthony Durrell. He beat Ronald Graville. He beat David Lemieux, right? He's beaten way better opposition. And he was considered the best fighter at 168 before Canelo came in. Because it was between him at the time it was between him and Ronald Graville, right? And he beat Ronald Graville. He was the underdog in that fight with Ronald Graville, right? And Ronald Graville was signed to Floyd Mayweather, and Ronald Graville was supposed to be the next best thing. And Dave Benavidez beat him twice, back to back. And when he beat him, I think he was like 21 years old. He couldn't have been no more than 22, because that was 2017, and he's 28 right now. So he was 21, right? So he's 21 years old, and he beat Ronald Graville twice, right? And he got off the canvas. Remember, Ronald Graville dropped him in the fight. He got off the canvas to win a fight that he was the underdog in. So how could you say he don't bring anything to the table but extra weight? Is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And so we have that going on. Now we have Tank and Frank Martin. I believe that's going to be announced next week. Because this fight, Tim Tszyu, Sebastian Fundora, since Keith Thurman ruptured his bicep. So because that he ruptured his bicep, he's pulled out the fight. They're gonna replace him with Sebastian Fundora, right? Mm-hmm. Sebastian Fundora got knocked out in his last fight. But
still think he's got the edge on this one. I still think he'll probably win this one.
You think Fundora gonna win?
Yeah. I don't know. I just think he might do it.
He got the intangibles. He's 6'6", 80 inches. He's like a heavyweight. His arms is only 2 inches shorter than Joshua. And he's the same height as Joshua. That's ridiculous. Yeah. Imagine AJ fighting at 154. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It doesn't even sound real, right? So so Terrence Crawford is gonna fight the winner of that fight. But this is going to be fight week next week, right? So now they're going to use that. I believe they're going to use this fight, to promote. You probably see Tank Davis, Frank Martin. They'll announce like press conference and stuff. I'm sure that'll be next week. So, and that's going to be June 15th, Juneteenth weekend.
Okay.
Location should be Texas. I hope it's Texas because it's Juneteenth weekend, right? But we don't know where it's going to be. So we got that. And then obviously we got this situation with Ryan Garcia that just keeps on going, right?
The gift that keeps on giving. But before I go on, I've got to welcome everybody that's just joined. Obviously, we've got myself, Abs of October Red, and we've got Blue Blood Sports in the house. It's nice to be able to have this connect, this overseas connect, and I'm keeping abreast with all the American news. Going back to Canelo and Toby ring girl Bartlett. Toby loves his ring girls. So shout out to you, Toby. And I agree with this. Canelo.
Just disclaimer, I can't see the words or nothing.
Yeah, Canelo's
I can't even see you. I can see your shape, but I can't see you.
Some would say that's a gift. Some would say that's a blessing.
They lie.
Toby's put in the comments, Canelo is fishing for Eddie to get him that Saudi bag for the Benavidez fight. Eddie's going to put it to Uncle Turkey. Now, I'm more inclined to believe that when they start talking about those big figures, it's almost like him and Benavidez could work together to try and make that happen. But what I think sometimes the guys over there think that His Excellency is stupid. Tank Davis turned around and asked him for, 2 Ferraris? Like you can tell him what to do. And he says, how about you don't get anything? The thing is with Turkey, it's all smiles, everyone's there. But what people have to realize is that he calls the shots. It's not the fighters. If he wants you on the card, he'll put you on there. But you can't tell him what to do. And I think people really need to see that. So I'm going to agree that Canelo's probably going that way. But Eddie will probably try and run that to, because Eddie Hearn likes Canelo. We know what he's like with Canelo, but it's down to Turkey at the end of the day. So could he pay big money? I don't know about that much, but would he want to pay big money? Maybe, but I think he has to be in control. He's got to call the shots. You ain't telling him what to do. And we've saw that with Tank.
I think that Canelo said that he want to fight in Saudi before the year is up. So that's you on to something, right? So and who said that? Whoever said that, they on to something.
Yep.
Canelo and Eddie Reynoso. Remember, I told you they give you a third fight before the year is up.
Yep. November.
Canelo said that. Yeah, he said that he don't want to waste time with these fights in May and September because he wants to get that fight in before the year is up, which I believe you 1,000% correct is going to be the fight. They're trying to get His Excellency to invest in that fight. And him throwing out that number, I don't think that was a coincidence either. I think that that's a number, and I don't know if it's worth $200 million. That's a stretch, but I think that would be the biggest fight that Turkey Al-Sheikh can make because the traction and the amount of people that's gonna tune in from the States because it's so anticipated and it's so long, and not to mention the fact that he has the power to stack the undercard, right? He has the ability. Imagine if it was a joint situation where you had Anthony Joshua fighting, on that card, or you have, well, Dmitry Bivol is gonna fight Artur Beterbiev, but imagine he did say he wanted to bring Devin Haney over, so imagine you put those types of fighters. That's not realistic here in the States. If you're gonna put on a Canelo fight with Benavidez, the undercard is gonna suffer, right? But over there, you put, and then on top of that, we don't have. He has the ability to have universal amount of fighters, meaning that what I'm trying to say is that he could put on fights, UK fighters, on the undercard. That's not gonna happen. You understand? Like, he can make it very attractive for everybody. Like, he can put a massive British fight on the undercard of Canelo versus Benavidez. Now you're appealing to everybody, right? And so I don't know if you're going to get your money back, $200 million. I don't see that happening. It's a possibility, right? If you put on the right card, and it does, because if you sell here in the States, a pay-per-view is normally the lowest price is $75, right? So if you put on, if you do $80 pay-per-view, which is typically what's going to be for us, $79.99, which we're used to, right? So it's not a stretch. We're used to that, right? So you put that on times 300,000, that usually gives us about 24 million, right? That's only 300,000 pay-per-view buys, and that gives us 24 million. So you say if it did 3 times that amount, 4 times that amount, right? 1.2 million pay-per-view buys. That's going to give us what, a little over 100 million, right? Or right at 100 million, right? But if you put the card on correctly with the undercard that makes it appealing for everybody, can you stretch it to try to get to, you would have to double that. It would have to do 2.4 million pay-per-view buys, which today's time is pretty much non-existent, seeing as though the piracy is at an all-time high.
Yep.
And everybody has social. Yeah, it's ridiculous, right? Everybody has ability. I'll be watching fights or pay-per-view, and then I look at Instagram and people are streaming it live on Instagram. And I'm like, wow. So when you look at it from that standpoint, it's pretty hard to reach. But if you could do 1 million pay-per-view buys, right, and you do a massive gate, right, over there in Saudi Arabia, I mean, he's gonna take a loss. He's gonna take a loss either way, right? But if you say to Canelo, listen, we give you $100 million, something like that, something more realistic, right? $200 million is unrealistic. Like, Floyd Mayweather didn't even get 200. He got close to 200 million or 200 million when he fought Manny Pacquiao. But that fight did 4.6 million pay-per-view buys at $100. It wasn't
Wow.
$75. It was $100.
Back then.
So yeah, back then. So 4.6 million pay-per-view buys at $100 is ridiculous,
Mm.
right? That's huge numbers. It generated over $500 million. That fight.
Mm.
It generated over $500 million. So now you can pay Floyd Mayweather $200 million. You could pay Manny Pacquiao $100 million, and you still benefited $200 million, right? That's not, and we're not even going into the gates, the merchandise, and all of those types of things,
Sponsorships.
right? So your sponsors, so you got your money back. But is this a fight that's going to do that type of? No. I think Canelo feels like that he's trying to speak it into existence. That's what I think he's trying to do. But in the same token, he's destroying his reputation, because, see, when you have guys like Floyd Mayweather, for instance, that everybody here always, he's like the Mexican version of Floyd Mayweather here, right? So people always bring that up, but Floyd Mayweather always, he never said, I'm going to fight Manny Pacquiao if you give me $200 million. That was never the thing. It was, I'll fight Manny Pacquiao, but he got to take a drug test. That was it. He did. You knew who was the A side. That wasn't an argument. He was going to get whatever money he was going to get. He didn't care what money Manny Pacquiao was getting, as long as he got his. He didn't care about weights, rehydration clauses, or none of those things. All he wanted was the testing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he's going to get paid anyway. So all he wanted was everybody to be on like he said, an even playing field with the testing. And so, I just think that Canelo Alvarez that fight is probably going to be his last fight. I don't think he's going. I think he knows that for the first time in his career, he's going to fight somebody that could actually stop him. Mm. And he's normally durable, but David Benavidez David Benavidez he's durable, he's big, he's very, very cautious of that. But I do 1000%. I believe that you are on to something, and I believe that they're trying to reach in His Excellency pockets for sure.
Yep.
Oh, for sure. 100%. He announced that. He announced that he wanted that fight in Saudi Arabia before the year is up, like 2 months ago. Everybody here sees the money over there,
Well, you would do, because they've published what kind of figures the fighters are getting paid, and when you think about it, they're probably not making that money back. But Saudi's obviously centralizing, or trying to centralize, the sport over there. They've got the football over there as well, our type of football, what you call soccer, that's over there. They've got snooker now as well. So they're trying to, it's the general entertainment authority. So it's not just boxing. So they're literally navigating the way around all the sports and trying to pull them over there. We already know that Formula One's got a big presence over in Saudi as well, which they've not got anything to do with, but I'm sure they'll be interlinked somehow. So it's becoming a hub, and it's a hub for money. And many people will be sitting down thinking, I want to go out there. It's like the land of make-believe, where all the dreams come true. But I just don't think His Excellency is the type of guy that likes being told what to do. It's his show, right, and he will do it his way. If you get called up, yeah, nice, but don't tell him what to do. Don't tell a man how to spend his money. I think that just, to me, that's just common sense. But I get it, because all the fighters that he's had out there, he's chosen them. Even some names that I wouldn't have recognized from the UK, and he's watched their fights and said, I've got to have him out there. And it's because of him taking that fighter out there. I know who that fighter is. Otherwise, I really wouldn't have known anything about them. So he
Mm-hmm.
watches everything. So I guarantee the Canelo, the Benavidez, Javante Davis, all of that, Ryan Garcia, he's watching that under a telescope because he watches absolutely everything. And so he would if he's investing his money, he's going to want to make sure that the products are good,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And he, like you said, he's not a fool. He knows the
No, he's
sport of
not.
boxing. Yeah, he's far from a fool. He's a big spender because he loves the sport, right?
Mm,
But he's far from a fool,
mm,
and so he's going to inquire about the actual numbers that they're bringing back to see if he get a return on his investment,
absolutely. But the
which he
heavyweight,
will.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry to cut you. It was just a conversation we was having before because I always like to kind of gauge like the American thoughts on some of our boxers, our British boxers, and we were
Mm-hmm.
talking about Dillian White and Anthony Joshua. And I guess I can't ask you to speak for the whole of the US, but your ear will be closer to the floor with it than mine will. So we had
Mm-hmm.
Dillian White fight on the weekend. We also had Joe Joyce fight on the weekend. So what's like the American kind of view on those guys? Bearing in mind that Joseph
Yeah.
Parker beat Deontay Wilder, who was your
Mm-hmm.
heavyweight, your champion,
Mm-hmm.
a couple of weeks ago. So talk to us about that, Blue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like I was telling you earlier, Dillian White is not liked here at all. The, the moment that anybody realized that he was fighting over here, it was all comedic. It was all trolling. It was all nobody paid attention to it. Nobody cared. Everybody trolled it. Everybody laughed at it. It was a meme. He was a meme. And the same thing with when Anthony Joshua fought here. Um, Anthony Joshua is a different type of a character, right? Personality. So he gets Anthony Joshua here gets the normal, normally it's 50-50 depending upon who it is, right? Like Devin Haney over here, he gets smacked. He gets smacked, right? He just a lot of people don't like Devin Haney. A lot of people don't like Terrence Crawford, right? We have our beloved fighters. We have our fighters that are not. Errol Spence is beloved. Terrence Crawford is disliked.
Why?
Tank Davis is beloved. Devin Haney is disliked. Why is it like that?
The Terence Crawford thing has always confused me because he's a really good fighter. We love a backstory. He's got that kind of backstory.
And he's
Why would
quiet.
they not like Terence Crawford?
It's unexplainable, right? It's a thing here in the States where we have it's a street thing, right? Um, Fighters here that you can't relate to, right? To give you an example, if Anthony Joshua was here in the States with Deontay Wilder, he would be the hated, right?
Who would be the hated one? Anthony Joshua?
Yes, yes, yes. So it's like people love Tank Davis, they can't stand Devin Haney. They love Errol Spence, they can't stand Terrence Crawford. Now, don't get me wrong, they have a fan base here, right? But overwhelmingly, the opposite fan base, their rivals, is not even comparable. It doesn't even compare, right? It's just overwhelming amount of disdain. Just I'm talking. We have people talking about Terrence Crawford's wife. You have people talking about it gets really it gets extremely bad. So Dillian White is somebody that universally here in the States, pretty much, they don't like him.
Any
They don't
particular
like
reason
Dillian White.
why?
Two things occurred. Deontay Wilder is very beloved here
Okay.
in the States. and some of the comments that he made about Deontay Wilder,
Mm.
it's a turnoff, right? So here you relate to your upbringing, relates to the fighter that appeals to you, right? Tank Davis is from the streets. He grew up in foster homes and poverty, and things of that nature
Okay.
in the hood of Baltimore. Devin Haney grew up with a dad that took him here. He didn't have those. He wasn't rich, but Bill Haney has always been a hustler. He had money. He had Bentley since Devin Haney was little. Things of that nature. So Devin Haney is perceived to be the quote unquote kid that was born with a silver spoon in his mouth, right? So people don't believe everything Devin Haney does is like, oh, you think you tough, you think you a gangster, you think that you didn't grow up like that. You saw with the Regis Prograde thing, you a
Yeah, I was
private
about to
school
say, I
kid,
remember that. Yeah.
yeah, and it that continues, right? It's like that. Now Terrence Crawford is weird with Terrence Crawford, right? Because he's the opposite. Terrence Crawford grew up in the streets. He
Yeah.
got shot in the head.
Yeah.
Everybody knows he got shot in the head and things of that nature. But he's a kid from a small town of Omaha. You
Omaha,
know,
yeah.
um, yeah, Nebraska is a very small town. It's a very secluded town. You know what I mean? And it's not a big city. It's not, so it's like it's not respected. It's not
God.
respected. You know what I mean? So because of that, he gets a lot of disdain. So now he beat Errol Spence, and every day all you get is he's on steroids. He cheated. He did. It just never ends. And so Dillian White, he gets the same. Dillian White is in the same boat as them, and worse because he's not from the states. So, oh boy, you look at social media with Dillian White, it's like, look who's fighting. I mean, he's just a meme here, a straight up meme. Everything he did is just, people made a joke about it. People, just didn't respect. They don't respect Dillian White. Now, Anthony Joshua, on the other hand, he's not. I don't want to say he's far behind Dillian White, but Anthony Joshua gets a lot more respect. Right now, you're gonna have people that don't like him, so on and so forth. But the only issue that people have with Anthony Joshua is that the negotiations with Deontay Wilder, not asking for $50 million and then all of that type of thing. That's the thing, but that's the typical. He gets the typical treatment like everybody else. You know what I'm saying here. Um, but Dillian White is just disliked. Anthony Joshua is respected. You know what I mean? Like you look, Anthony Joshua comes here, he's respected. Tyson Fury here is he's like 50-50, right? You look at Tyson Fury here is like he's like 50-50. Some people like because he's just a character. You know what I mean? So people look at Tyson Fury and they're like, oh, this dude is a character. You get people. A lot of people like him in the States because he's a character. You know what I mean? It's like he's must see TV. It's like you don't know what to get from him. It's like Prince Nassim Ahmed to us. It's the same thing. It's like this dude is a entertainer. He's a character. You know what I mean? Anthony Joshua is more respected for being a fighter. You know what I mean? Like, all right, this dude is the. Sometimes it's like hit and miss. Sometimes people will hear or look at Anthony Joshua like, man, this dude, he ain't got it. He don't have that it factor. He don't have the dog. You know what I'm saying inside of him. But after his few fights, it's like, all right, he has the respect. He has the opportunity. Dillian White don't got it. It's over. Dillian White is looked at the same way here as Jarrell Big Baby Miller. Like, bro, it's like
I always,
Big Baby
I,
Miller here in the States has gotten pushed to the side like so bad. Like people are like and he's really a good dude in person. I know him personally, but so many people look at Big Baby like he's made himself a mockery here. You know what I mean? Like it's like, bro, nobody you bring up his name and it's like, man, come on, don't even people won't even acknowledge him anymore. You know what I mean? And that's like the same boat Dillian White is in.
Well, there's a couple of things that you said there that I want to go back on, and one of them is the negotiations with Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua. You've told me from the US point of view. I'm going to give you the UK point of view. Yeah, I remember. I'll pay you $50 million for that fight. And Anthony Joshua was like, yeah, all right then. Yeah, let's have it. Let's take the fight. Obviously, you can say what you want online, but we need proof of funds. It's a business. Let's negotiate. And I remember like all of the media saying, have you spoke to Deontay Wilder's team? Have you spoke to Shelley Finkel's team? Has that happened? And there was no negotiations. The fight never materialized. And because Anthony Joshua isn't that character, doesn't jump out online and starts running his mouth and saying, you messed up, blah, people sort of tipped towards what Deontay Wilder was saying, but there was never anything on the table. Eddie Hearn flew over to New York to go to a meeting, and Shelley Finkel, apparently, this is the UK version, yeah, never turned up. And then years later, remember Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua fought. Deontay Wilder tweeted, I could have took the Anthony Joshua fight for more money, but I chose to fight you. So that kind of nullifies that negotiation rumor that was running over there about Anthony Joshua ducking. Well, say what you want about Anthony Joshua. He doesn't duck fights. And I'm a fan of the sport itself. I can't put my hands up and say I'm the biggest AJ fan because I'm not. But I remember watching that everything, every tiny bit of that play out, even to when Deontay Wilder tweeted and said that to Tyson Fury, and he was like, there it is. So we didn't take the Anthony Joshua fight. He took less money or whatever it was to fight Fury. That's in a tweet, since deleted. But if you look on the internet, it's definitely still there.
Mm-hmm.
So that is.
So what happened with that is that so it's two different time frames, right? So the initial negotiations with Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua before he fought Fury, right? That's where the issue came in. After he fought Fury, the first time it ended in a draw, he was offered money to fight Anthony Joshua, and that's when Deontay Wilder was like, "No, I'm not going to take that money. I'm gonna honor my word and rematch Tyson Fury." So that's where he could have got. That's why he said I could have got more money to fight Anthony Joshua now than fighting you in this rematch, right? But before he fought Tyson Fury to begin with, is where the problem came in with the negotiations, right? So I was there when all of this. I know I'm close to Shelley Finkel. Deontay Wilder is like a brother of mine. So I know the negotiations pretty well, right? I was around it. I was the one that asked Anthony Joshua when he came to the States for the first time about the $50 million. That was me.
Oh, right? I remember seeing that.
When his security sprayed the water on me, that was me.
The sprayed water on you?
Yeah, that was me. Mm-hmm. Yep. So,
shame I can't get that video. It's still on YouTube, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It should be. It was so long ago, I don't even remember. But yeah, it definitely should be.
Okay.
So I was the one. Me and Eddie Hearn was going back and forth all the time, right? With that if Eddie Hearn sees me right now, he goes, there he goes, my friend. We gonna get into it, you know. So, but we just got past that. But the thing is that the business is different over here than it is over there, right? So dealing with Al Heyman and the way Al Heyman does business, Al Heyman operates as not a promoter. He operates as as a advisor, right?
Okay.
So he has promoters that operate for him. Tom Brown Promotions, uh, Golden Boy Promotions was his promotional company. So Al Heyman, to just give people over there, guys, may not know who Al Heyman is.
I'll call him the Kaiser Sose of boxing.
He is Al, Al Heyman. Any entertainer you see at the highest level, Al Heyman is behind him, right?
Okay.
Jay-Z,
Really?
Janet Jackson, Michael Jackson, Drake.
I thought
Yeah,
that was Jay Prince.
no, that's Al Heyman. Jay Prince they have a working relationship, but that's Al Heyman. That's why you see on
Interesting.
Drake's song, he said, remember on Drake's song, Al Heyman name on all of my checks.
Oh, wow.
Remember? Michael Jackson, you name them. Beyonce, they had a falling out. Him and Beyonce and Jay-Z have fallen out now. But you name him, he's behind Al Heyman.
Interesting.
That's who Al Heyman is. He operates in the shadows, though. But everybody
Yeah.
knows. I don't want to say everybody knows who he is. Everybody knows of him and what he does here in the States.
Mm-hmm.
So you hear Drake, you hear Meek Mills, you hear Janet Jackson, Michael Jackson, Prince, you name him, he's behind. Beyonce, TLC, you name him, he's behind.
He's not behind
That's
Puff
where he
Daddy, is
started.
he?
No, I hope not. I don't. Hey, you know something? That's a good question because I never even looked into that, right? But I'm sure they have some sort of relationship. But so that's where Al Heyman started. To give people a backstory on Al Heyman, he started in the entertainment music industry, and all these concerts, Rick Ross, all these concerts, or everything. Al Heyman is the advisor for and the manager for pretty much every one of them. That's where he started. His brother was a boxer. His brother got shortchanged in the sport of boxing, had nothing to show for it when it was over. That's how and why he got in boxing.
Interesting. Does he do interviews?
Al Heyman, no, he don't do interviews.
Nah, I didn't think so.
You ain't even gonna see him. You go to fights, you ain't even gonna see him. He has 3 pictures on Google. Can't even. I mean, it's that's so his business model and everybody else's business model is very different, right? And so the way he does business and the way he was doing business was trying to negotiate that fight.
Mm-hmm.
And when Anthony Joshua made the comment, if you give me $50 million, then I'll take the fight tomorrow. So they said, okay, here go $50 million. Now he said, well, we need proof of funds, so on and so forth. So here in the States, it's like it's how could I put this? It's like Turkey Al Sheikh saying, okay, here go $50 million, and then we say, oh, we need proof of funds. It's an insult to him, right?
Right. Okay. All right. I get that. Mm-hmm. But if it's like a new business partnership, you're not really going to take the risk on someone's word. I get that, and I see that, and that's goals. Like, who do you think you're talking to?
But this is what happened.
Yeah, but then.
But this is what happened, right? This is what happened, right? So Anthony Joshua came back and said he saw the proof of funds. The money is there. But then he said that, yeah. So then he said that he said the proof of funds is there, the money is there, and he was flattered. But then he said that, but he have other obligations that he can't just take a $50 million guarantee purse. And that's where the problem lies. Because now it's like, if you ask for $50 million and now you see the proof of funds, why are you not taking the $50 million?
Well,
and so he says that, well, he has other sponsors. You can look that up. It was so long ago now, I forgot the channel. But I'm sure you should say, if you type in Anthony Joshua confirms $50 million or whatever, I'm pretty sure it'll follow.
You know
But
what? I will have a look. It's a shame
yeah,
I didn't know about that before this because I might have looked at it before. But like I said, there's always gonna be two sides, and we was frustrated because we wanted to see at that time Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua was like the perfect fight. We
biggest fight in
really,
boxing.
yeah, we really wanted
So,
to see that. So obviously it never
biggest,
happened, and I think somebody in the comments has put that you guys sorry, I'm going to try and reel back through the comments. Was it J7? Shout out to yourself. I believe he's one of your countrymen. When Wilder Fury happened, the first fight, a lot of us did believe that Fury won that fight. Yes. I didn't think that it
it's
was
a
a
draw.
draw. I know obviously that's what they ruled it as, and that's what it will always be. But I had Tyson Fury edging the win on the first fight. A really good fight, an entertaining fight, a fight that was literally a war, and it carried on for two further fights. Do you think those
Mm.
fights, Blue, have taken something out of each fighter as time's gone by? Because we saw obviously Deontay Wilder, I get it. He's had the three Tyson Fury fights. Obviously, there was arbitration. There was all sorts of crazy stuff going on in between that. He comes back
Mhm.
out. He fights Hellenius. He knocks him out in under one round. Then I've spoke to his trainer, Malik King Scott. Shout out to him. Lovely guy. Spoke to him and he was like, they were waiting to get this, obviously with the Saudi mix now, they're waiting to get this Anthony Joshua fight. So possibly instead of staying active, he waited around. And then look, he ends up taking the fight with Joe Parker. Joe Parker outboxes him, really does a good job on him. Doesn't get him out of there, but outboxes him. But then we have Tyson Fury after his three fights going to fight Francis Ngannou. And then it's like,
Mhm.
has something been taken out of both heavyweights over the years?
Oh, I think 1,000%,
Mm,
1,000%. They had some grueling fights,
yeah.
grueling. Like just as a human being, like how much can you take? You know.
Mm,
Uh, remember Tyson Fury said that it took him like 3 days before he was forgetting stuff. You know. You don't have fights like that without it taking something out of you. You know. I think it's the same situation we had with Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier. They took a lot out of each other, right?
yes.
Um, uh, uh, Tommy Hearns and Sugar Ray Leonard. You know,
Oh,
like
God, yeah.
yeah, those when you have those types of magnets, because nobody wants to give, nobody wants to because of the 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 status that they have. You know, they just out. Nobody
Oh,
wants to
you're.
give. Like they literally, like okay, to give you an example, right? Errol Spence, like he took a beating. If the
Oh,
referee didn't say that's enough, he was going to keep going. He would have keep
yeah.
going, right?
Yeah.
And so those types of
Brutal.
yeah, it's just so brutal that it took yeah, no doubt, 1,000%. Something was taken out of both of them. Something was taken out of both of them. Fury came out on the winning end, but us
Still a
as
battle.
fans, we won. Yeah, we won, right?
Mm,
The only true people that won in those fights was us, right?
yeah,
They took
100%.
losses. Something was taken out of both of them, you know. And because you know, they such nobody wanted to give. Fury getting up is out. It's unheard of. Just like, bro, how is you getting up? You know what I'm saying? Even when Wilder was taking those punches, it's like, bro, how? How? You know? So no doubt that they're not the same guys. And that's what it's unfortunate because that's what we asked for,
Yeah.
right? In the sport of boxing. It's entertaining, but the unfortunate part is if either one of them fought Anthony Joshua, we'll never know if they're true, whether they win or not. You know what I mean? Like we just don't know but that's the round robin, right? That's how it works, and it could have very well been in role reverse, right, for Joshua if he would have fought Wilder, right?
Mm.
I'm sure it would have been more than one fight, right? And then who's to say by the time either one of them fought Fury, they have, because at this point in time, Fury and Wilder are going to fight they fighting on fumes, but they're going to fight on heart. Win, lose, or draw against AJ, they're gonna stand their ground just like they did with one another, and he gonna have to literally legit, delete one of them, or the referee's gonna have to say enough is enough.
So what do you
But
think
that's what we have
then?
to look.
Yeah, so what do you
Hmm?
think in regards to, obviously Tyson Fury's got his bout coming up, the undisputed with Usyk, and I said it yesterday when I was on a live yesterday with Boxing Beats and Rhyme. Shout out to him, that Usyk put a post up, said like kind of like, you've just started training. I've always been training, like proper going for the jugular, almost
Hmm.
like mocking him to say, "Oh, now you're taking it seriously." How do you see
Hmm.
that fight with Usyk and Fury? Because I was confident. Well, I was edging more towards Fury winning, but now I don't know. Now I'm going to wait for the actual first bell to go and see what happens in the first round before I make up my mind. But what do you think about that, Blue?
I'm 1,000% on board with Fury. I'm putting up $5,000 on the fight already. And
Five
on
thousand
Fury,
dollars.
yeah, $5,000 already
Damn.
laid down. I truly believe that the three heavyweights to beat is Joshua, Wilder, and Fury. And I just think that Tyson Fury fights to the level of his competition. Remember, I told you this, right?
Yeah, you did say that
And
last time. Yeah.
he even though I think that something was taken out of him versus Wilder, I feel like they was, and again, like with Wilder fight with Joseph Parker, it was like it was more what he didn't do compared to what Joseph Parker did, right? It was like he just didn't assert himself. He didn't let his hands go. He seemed off. He seemed like, he was just moving around the ring. He wasn't engaging. It was like he looked disinterested to me, right? Just like disconnected, right? Um, and Tyson Fury, same thing when he fought Ngannou, right? He just, first punch he threw was just a wild looping hook, just like tried to knock him out with one punch. Like that's never his style, right? And then the fight dragged on a lot tougher than what he anticipated, and he had to adjust to that. But
Mm.
you're just not going to get that version of Tyson Fury versus Usyk. Unfortunately for Usyk, he's going to get the best version of Tyson Fury, the one that Wilder seen, the one that Vladimir Klitschko seen. That's the version of Tyson Fury he's going to get. He's not going to get the guy, not even the guy that fought Dillian White. Like, he didn't respect Dillian White, right? He was laying on him, use his weight. He's, and to hear Usyk say that he hasn't been training is fool's gold, because I've been watching Tyson Fury train, and Tyson Fury is, in my opinion, now I don't live in his body, only he does, right? But he looks like he's the version of that he fought Vladimir Klitschko, and I don't see Alexander Usyk beating Tyson Fury. Styles make fights. He beat Anthony Joshua. I think that Anthony Joshua mentally was going through things. I think that Anthony Joshua lost confidence at some point in time, and I think that Anthony Joshua, from the Andy Ruiz fight, he was like just hit and miss some fights, right? And so he hurt Usyk to the body, and AJ goes for the kill shot. He didn't do that when he went to the body. The referee broke it up. He showed him too much respect, and Styles, he's a lot more robotic and strategic and textbook with his approach. That allows Usyk to do what he does best:
Yeah, because
move
he's
around
got.
the ring.
Yep.
Yeah, because he can. Joshua's textbook, right? So 1, 2, 3, right? that type of thing. You know, I throw this punch comes behind it. Like you can react to it. You
Yeah.
know, he's gonna do textbook. He's gonna be textbook, right? That's
Hmm.
not what you're gonna get from Tyson Fury when you Usyk, right? That worked against AJ because AJ showed him too much respect. If AJ would have just went forward and he would, I think he would have stopped Usyk. I think if he fights him again in the third fight, he's not gonna fight that way. I think he's gonna be aggressive. He won't have respect for him. He'll press the fight. He'll realize that Usyk slows down the second half of fights. He's susceptible to going to the body, and AJ will take advantage of those things. He's gonna have to walk through hell and high fire to get it because Usyk is gonna return. Usyk is a dog, so he's gonna return it. He's gonna let you have it. But I think that it's not something that AJ can't take. Right? I think that he let himself strategically lose those fights for strategy. Tyson Fury is not going to do that. Tyson Fury is going to lay on Usyk. It's going to be ugly. He's going to use his jab long. He's going to counter with the right hand. The moment Usyk lands anything clean, he'll tie him up. He'll roughhouse him. He'll be using all types of elbows and headlocks and pushing his head down. That's going to wear Usyk down. In the second half of the fight, he won't be as active. He's an older guy. He's like 37 years of age, right? You know, Tyson Fury is going to start. He's going to, jab him, use his range. It's going to be a very, very difficult fight for Usyk to close the gap. Every time he gets close to Fury, Fury's going to grab him. He's going to grab him. He's not going to. When AJ didn't grab him, he didn't wrap him up. He let Usyk work. But in the second fight, when you saw when Usyk got on the inside, AJ didn't let him work. Like he was getting physical with him. You could see the frustration on Usyk's face, right? Tyson Fury's going to do that from the very beginning. The very beginning. As soon as he get close enough to land a punch, it's going to be all types of grappling and tying up and holding and all types of things that it just Usyk is a rhythm fighter. He's a rhythm fighter. You have to break his rhythm. He wants to move. He wants to circle the ring. He wants to be technical. He fights like I tell people, like Vasyl Lomachenko. They are rhythmic
Oh
and
yeah.
perpetual motion type of fighters. You
Hmm.
break that. They don't fight. They don't fight well going backwards. They do not fight well going backwards. They struggle going backwards because I call them front runners, right? Because when they have an advantage over you athletically or foot speed or any of those things, you're done, right? They're going to keep using the angles. They're going to keep frustrating you with the angles, with all of those things. You got to back them up, take them out their comfort zone, and Tyson Fury is going to do all of those things. He's going to beat Alexander Usyk, and I'm going to win some money.
Oh wow. What are the odds for $5,000? What are you looking to get back? I'm just interested because that's a lot of money.
I could get back 150,000.
Oh my God. That is a lot of money. Fair play. I think I do agree with the strategy of Tyson Fury that he's got to come out aggressive, front foot, bully him, take advantage of the body. Yeah, I do agree with the strategy. I'm just not sure if Usyk has got that sleight of foot to be able to maneuver, to be able to run, to be able to go from side to side, left to right, because that's what he does. He keeps his hands busy, so you don't know. He's like complete. He's always feinting, feint, 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 bang, feint, feint, move, bang. That's his
Mm-hmm.
style. So I'm just
Mm-hmm.
thinking, Fury's not that light on his feet as he usually is. So he's got to come out and be aggressive and really stick it on him, tie him up, like you said, do whatever he needs to do to win. But I still cannot pick up. I can't pick a winner, but I will do on the night. Toby Bartlett's put in the chat and welcome. Like I said, if you just joined us, I'm Abs of October Red, joined by Bluebird Sports TV, our fellow New Yorker. We're building bridges here. So I'd ask for you to remain respectable in the comments. Anyway, Toby Bartlett has put up, Ronnie Shields said last night on Joe Heron's War Week radio channel that Filip Hrgovic is fighting Daniel Dubois in Saudi on the 5x5. He's going to be in the smelly stuff with the Turkey Al Sheikh. Yeah, I did hear the same thing that Filip Hrgovic and Daniel Dubois What are your thoughts on that? Because you know that ref that broke up Anthony Joshua and Anthony Joshua hurt him to the belly. That was the same
The
ref
same ref.
that was in Daniel Dubois and the Usyk fight.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
what do you think about Hrgovic and Daniel Dubois?
I, I, Philip. I thought Philip Hrgovic. I thought he lost to Zhang in that fight.
Same.
Yeah, I thought Zhang won that fight. I'm not sold on him. Now, his durability can be a problem for Daniel Dubois because Daniel Dubois, when he gets hit, he shows me that his mentality, he could pack it in. If you hit him clean a couple of times, like he might pack it in, right? Even in Big Baby Miller fight, when he got hit a couple of times, his body language, I don't like his body language when he get hit. Like he just, even in the Usyk fight, I was like, bro, I thought he could have got up. Now, obviously, I'm a passenger driver, right? I'm a front passenger seat driver, right? I'm not in the ring, but it just from the looks of it looked like he could have got up, right? And he just didn't.
Just didn't.
You know, and Philip, man, he could take a beating. So if
He rabbit
if you
punches.
can't take,
he rabbit punches.
Yeah, filthy.
Rabbit punches. He's back of the head.
Yeah, he you know what he reminds me of? He does it different, but he reminds me of Andrew Galata, right? He does it different though. Galata used to do it low blows. It was ridiculous. The low blows he used to land. It was just utterly ridiculous. In the Riddick Bowe fight, I think he landed, if I'm not mistaken, it was counted like 25 low blows, something ridiculous like that.
Wow.
That's just yeah. So I think that's a 50-50 fight.
Okay.
But I can definitely see with the momentum that Daniel Dubois have from the Big Baby Miller fight.
Yep.
Right? It's like he got a newfound rejuvenation, right? You know, the Joe Joyce fight had a black cloud over it. The Usyk fight had a black cloud over it, right? I just feel like that the Jarrell and Big Baby Miller being durable, being so big and weathering the storm, and I think that just rejuvenated him, right? It just gave him a more of his confidence is like, I could do this. You know what I mean? I still got it. I still could do this. And I think he's gonna beat Philip Hrgovic. I think he's gonna beat him.
Yeah, AP's put in the comment, Dubois is a new man since he lost his V plates. I think there was some social media talk where Daniel Dubois said he had a girlfriend now and he's a man now, etc., etc. So they were saying that helped him find.
Wait a minute, he was a virgin?
Well, I don't know. Listen, I'm not one for gossip. I don't do gossip, but apparently that's what was circulating around on the internet. Whether it's true or not, who knows? I wasn't there. And I wouldn't want to be there.
I would think that makes you stronger. I would think that makes you stronger.
Well, so what do you think then with Joe Joyce versus Dillian White?
I think Dillian White wins that fight. I think Dillian White is underrated. I like Dillian White. I think he's underrated. I think that him losing to Fury and Joshua get knocked out by Povetkin. Yeah, but the way he knocked Povetkin out, I like Dillian White, man. I think that Dillian White is gonna beat Joe Joyce. I think Joe Joyce is overrated, man. I think Dillian White can see his punches. I think that he'll adapt to his punches. His size is not going to be a factor to Dillian White because Dillian White is crafty. He has quick hands. I like Dillian White, man. He puts his punch cut as long as his stamina is on par and he doesn't fade. Yeah, that's the issue that Dillian White has is stamina. You know what I mean? But I think I'm picking Dillian White. As a matter of fact, they're gonna make that fight.
No, it's just something that we're circulating and talking about over here in the UK, only because they both fought. Joe Joyce fought on the Saturday, Dillian White fought on the Sunday. So it's like, oh, okay, both coming off, whatever, Dillian with his
But,
layoff,
makes
Joe
sense.
Joyce off a loss. What do we think about this? Would that go on a Saudi card? Would that be in the UK? And it's just getting the feel for it really to mix up the heavyweights. But I have heard, Blue, that Deontay Wilder will be fighting in Saudi. Is there anything that you can hint to us that maybe
Uh,
that's the truth?
yeah, yeah, he. There's definitely a plan. He'd definitely be back, 1,000%, 1,000%. He'll be back, 1,000%. Against who? I still don't know, but
Mm.
he is he working on it? Yeah, absolutely, 1,000%.
And how do you think he will? I mean, I know you said that he didn't see him himself, etc., etc. I just thought that Joe Parker was able to suss him out and outbox him. But when you talk about him coming back and obviously His Excellency giving him another chance out in Saudi, what changes would he need to make? Because he's on a roll to come back. Remember, he was scheduled to fight Anthony Joshua. That contract was signed. Once again, here we are, happy that Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder are going to get it on. And then Parker comes and spoils the party. So where is
Completely.
Deontay Wilder in the mix now? Where is he? Like with the heavyweights?
I would like to see if AJ fights Joseph Parker, because that's what I was hearing. Is that true? You hear anything? Because I'm hearing
AJ
that.
Joseph Parker. I think it might have been whispered about, but like nothing confirmed, because obviously that's starting to look more true now, because we're hearing about Hrgovic and Daniel Dubois, when Hrgovic was possibly going to be the AJ fight. So you know what?
Right.
That's possible. That's possible.
Yeah. So that's what I'm hearing, that AJ, because the first over here we was hearing that was going to be AJ and Hrgovic, and now you got Hrgovic and Daniel Dubois. Seems like AJ gonna fight Joe Joyce. Put Dillian White and Deontay Wilder on that card. Why not?
Yeah, I think it could be a good matchup. We've got, obviously, I know, well, obviously the schedule is that we have Usyk versus Fury on May the 18th. The new altered date. Obviously, I think Jaya Pataya's on that card. There's quite a few fights on that card, and then we've got June the 1st, which is, I'm looking forward to it. Beterbiev Bivol, which I'm gonna back Beterbiev to win. I don't care what anyone says in the comments. I'm backing Beterbiev.
You think Beterbiev gonna win, huh?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I got Bivol.
I think a lot of people have got Bivol, but I've got Beterbiev.
Yeah,
I do think it's possibly going to be his last fight, but I do think Beterbiev wins. I like his style anyway.
I just think that he's not going to deal with the movement very well, and the slickness and the preciseness of Dimitri Bivol. Dimitri Bivol is very, very crafty. He's taller than Beterbiev. He don't have the power, obviously, but I just see things when I saw Callum Smith fight him. Callum Smith, I always say this. I like to look at the battles within the war that tells me how that army would fare against another army, right? And so when I look at the battles within the war with Beterbiev, I see things that I'm like, okay, Callum Smith may not have the ability, but he laid some foundation, right? What's his name? Sir Marcus Brown. When he fought him, he laid some foundation, right? He laid some. Okay, I can see that. I can see this, which leads me to believe that I don't think either one of them have the skill set of Dimitri Bivol, but I think that he can capitalize on the holes that Beterbiev has, right? So I think that his skill set is, if he adopts and does some of the things that they were able to do in success, even Anthony Yard, right? When Anthony Yard fought him, right? Yard had some moments. It's just certain intangibles that he has that Yard don't have, that Caleb Smith and Marcus Brown don't have, right? I just think that his movement, along with his his educated foot placement, along with his ring IQ and his combination punching, is just something that he's a level above Yard, Caleb Smith, and Marcus Brown, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if they had any of those, I think they could have won. Yard hurt him bad. Now I don't think Bivol has he he doesn't have the power Anthony Yard has, right? But Yard hurt him, right, a few times, and he admitted it, right? Uh, and how did Yard hurt him? He hurt him with countering. It was his
Mm-hmm.
countering punches, right? Bivol's the ultimate counter puncher. Now he'll have to do the difference between him and Yard is Yard can land one counter punch and and get your attention to freeze you, right? Now he'll have to land two or three accumulation of counter punches, right? A combination,
Mm-hmm.
boom, 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 off of counter punching, because if you watch Arthur Beterbiev at times, he'll look for just one punch. He'll be
Yeah,
inactive. He'll look just to get you trapped on the ropes and
correct.
look to land one punch. He'll be inactive. So as long as you can turn him and you able to weather the storm and you able to stay calm, because and he land that punch, you gotta be able to stay calm, and you can't. You get rattled, it's over, right? So if you can deal with the punch and keep a poker face, right? You gotta keep a poker face. Don't show him that you hurt. Keep turning. That's the problem that Yard did. Yard showed him he was hurt, and he's
It's
a
not
shark,
good.
right? Then he's gonna come after you. Now you gotta try to weather the storm. But if you can keep the poker face where you keep him at bay on his own and just tell yourself, God, man, that hurt, but just tell it to yourself and not to the world. He won't come in like a it's easier said than done, right? But he won't come in like a bull in a china shop, right? You know what I mean? And then now you gotta try to deal with the onslaught, but you hurt. You know what I mean? If you could be hurt and don't give and the impression that you hurt and still moving, he's still gonna be calculated, right? And I think that that's what Bivol can do. So I just see Bivol winning that fight.
See, I see what you see, but I see Bivol's rhythm as predictable, and I see Beterbiev disrupting it, being patient. We talk about that foot placement. He will look for those angles. Yes, counter punches. It's like you hit Bivol and he's straight back with it. But Artur Beterbiev has got very high IQ. That IQ enables him to be quite flat-footed, relaxed, and he really finds the angles to hit his opponent. He's almost downloading what you're doing so he can disrupt it. And like you said, once he starts backing you up against them ropes and getting those shots off, it could be a short night. I'm definitely backing Beterbiev because I only because I believe that Bivol's rhythm can be disrupted. Because if you watch any of Bivol's fights, you learn that rhythm just from watching his fights. So someone with IQ that's standing in front of him can learn that rhythm as well. I just think that's just my opinion, but I guess we'll see on June the 1st. Listen, we've been going for a bit now, and we want to carry this on next week. So I don't want to talk about absolutely everything. No doubt in the next 7 days, there's going to be more chaos on the internet for us to talk about. But if we've got any final words from yourself, Blue, before obviously I let you get safely
But
home.
let's do it. Let's do it next Wednesday. It's my birthday.
Oh, I'm going to have to bring a cake on the screen. I
Yeah,
ain't
yeah.
singing you
Let's
happy
do it. Let's
birthday,
do it.
though. I ain't singing
Yeah,
happy
yeah. No, you
birthday.
gotta sing happy
I'll
birthday.
be like
You gotta
Alicia
sing happy
Keys,
birthday.
missing notes and messing up the whole show. Shout out to Alicia Keys. Listen, guys, in the chat, you've been absolutely fantastic. Thanks for rocking with us. I think I've got a new member as well, Eloise Parkin, here very early. So shout out to you and thank you for joining the membership. I guess I better start doing membership ideas. But thank you once again. And you know what we say at October Red. Adios. And obviously, stay ready.